Darius Prince and his 2 dozen Albany Empire teammates wanted their money. They had been owed payment by direct deposit after their previous National Arena League game, a 55-53 home loss to the San Antonio Gunslingers. And that was the first since Antonio Brown's arrival. Of course, anybody that knows Antonio Brown don't know Antonio Brown is the former NFL star. He became the team's majority owner. The week came and then poof, no payments. Darius Prince had helped compile a list of how much each player was owed and sent it to the newly appointed team president, Bernie Dennis, who tried and failed to pay them via a Zelle cash transfer. Several hours later, Prince received a screenshot that seemed to show a pending payment that would arrive by the following Monday, and Empire players filed onto the bus. However, 4 months later, Empire players are still owed compensation from Brown's tenure, according to a local attorney who was preparing potential lawsuits. Brown, who raised fans' hopes by buying into the team in March, is nowhere to be seen, and the Empires are no more. The National Arena League board voted unanimously to kick the team out in June for failure to pay 3 months of membership fees, and that comes from Brown's accountant, Alex Ganaris. Brown's brief doomed tenure as the Empire's owner was defined by unpaid bills, unfulfilled promises, and erratic behaviors, according to players, coaches, and team employees and fans interviewed by, of course, ESPN. Mm-hmm. Darryl, let me just be real for a second. When you have a situation like this, didn't all the red flags come up in the first place just based how he acted personally and in the NFL?
Right.
There were red flags all over the place.
Yes, there was.
Before, he decided he was going to be majority owner of the Empires. Right. And one of those things that most people, like to do is give people a chance. And he was one of them. He was given a chance and he blew it. So now you're going to have trust issues to where people are not going to believe a damn word you say, right, based on how you talk. They're going to question everything. Oh, is that bump really on your face? Do you really have a bump on your face? You know what I'm saying? Oh, did you really shave your mustache? They're going to question the small things now.
Right.
Because right. that's the inability of trust that you instilled in yourself, and this is how you're carrying yourself. But then there's another side. You also had the mental health side, and that's where most people kind of tend to look over the mental health side and think that this is just behavior that he always acted on. Mm-hmm. But I think we talked about this a while ago. And this might have been last year. Yeah, it was probably last year or year before last when he was playing with Tampa Bay. We talked about these head injuries and what it can do to you as a human being. And that was one of the things that we had talked about. That right. It's these, concussions and all this stuff. It can kind of make you, a little bit different. Oh, and that says a lot about what's going on with him. And from a mental health aspect, just reading the little notes that I had, mm-hmm. What is your thoughts? Because this is really, to me, this is really damn near embezzlement. But the problem with this is that if it's embezzlement, he would be profiting from this, but I don't think he profit anything. It's just more broken promises and just a bunch of how do I want to put this? It's just more of just a bunch of
disappearances
stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Disappearance and just a bunch of stuff that
Well,
just came
let me
about.
ask. Let me ask a question. I think I might have missed. I probably missed it. What sport is this that he actually invested in?
According to, excuse me, according to ESPN, I believe it was supposed to have been National Arena League.
Is that like a football game or something?
It is. It's a football game, and it's kind of
That's what I was asking. I didn't know what it was. Is that a
well,
football?
it kind of similar.
AFL, Arena Football League,
Yeah, but I think that
or
this
is it
is the
something?
this is the NAL,
Right.
and it's similar AFL, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I had to ask.
I'm not familiar with it myself,
Well,
but
no,
I
I
think
was just wondering what it was. If it was some kind of football league
it's
or whatever
football.
they had. Okay.
It it was football because Antonio. Hold on, because of this. Okay, if he was supposed to have played a few games with them, and that didn't happen either.
Okay. And he was supposed to had made payments. Was he?
He was
Was
an owner. He's an
okay?
owner.
He's an owner,
So when
and
you're an owner, you're supposed to be paying your peoples. That's
right,
pretty much how it
but he
is.
didn't.
Exactly.
And they're saying that he never made payments, and who pocketed the money?
I don't know if he pocketed the money.
Okay, okay,
He may have. I don't know.
okay.
He may have. He very well could have. I don't know that to be sure.
It
This
seems like it
article,
because.
this article is so long that
Ooh,
it would have taken me years to read it.
yeah,
So I kind of had to just do what I call Darren's notes and kind of just sum up the brief summary of it. And we'd be talking about this for years.
yeah. It kind of seems like that investing in it, and then you play those games, and then you profited whatever that you probably made from the game itself, but you never paid anybody
And yeah, because they were back
for.
to back. Yeah, because they were back to back league champions. They were
Oh,
back.
so
Yeah,
he's
they were.
been on it for a while then.
Nope, he just started right after they won those back to backs. And that's where the mental health come in because now since they're kicked out of the league, they
Yeah,
can't. They're questioning their future now.
because they
Of what?
chose they they chose to pretty much invest in somebody that they knew had CTE. They knew that he had a lot of problems. His erratic behavior, walking out on the Bucks, right in the
Yeah,
middle of the game.
yeah,
You
yeah.
already know right there. That's sign number one.
Yes,
So the matter of the question is do you actually feel sorry for these people that's actually put their hard work in for somebody like an owner, for Antonio Brown, for them to come in and it just wipes up and disappear? You really don't, because it's really that situation where you knew what was happening. You knew what was going on. Antonio Brown just dismantled it, just completely destroyed it. Now, I don't know a lot in this situation,
I don't
but
either.
I sure damn know for a fact that they picked the wrong person. And I'm not saying this, because of how his behavior is, but I'm saying this because he has mental issues. You can't really choose a man that has mental issues and expect to be trusted with, not gonna say that type of money, but with that type of business.
Well, here's the thing. It really didn't with Antonio Brown's erratic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like he never displayed that attitude of being an embezzler. He displayed more of the physical side of behaviors and running his mouth and doing little different things like that. So it's one thing to give somebody a chance, but then there's also that oh, the red flags are all shown at the same time. You know, I honestly really do feel sorry for the team, but I don't, feel sorry for Antonio Brown in this in particular case
Well,
because
that's just the point. If you notice the smaller signs first, you could have saved yourself from a bigger embarrassment of what Antonio Brown has done. Yeah, he may not have shown the behavior of actually thinking embezzlement, or he may have not have shown the sign of actually neglecting. He may not have showed signs of it, but he showed some signs that he may not have been actually capable fit of being the owner of that company. And that's where you sit and you have to think about others other than Antonio Brown. Other than Antonio Brown, you have to kind of more like, how can I put it? You have to think about the signs. You have to think about the signs. You really have to think about that. And even though he really didn't show that type of erratic behavior, but that behavior could have been one in particular that could have been smart, like, well, I don't trust this. I don't trust this at all, especially if he had mental issues.
well, that's easier said than done sometimes when you think about it. Because back when, of course, you and I were teenagers, the one thing I said I would never do is get involved with a married girl. Guess what I did? It's easier said than done to say, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved with this," or I'm not going to be
Okay.
doing this, and I'm not going to be doing that."
Okay.
And to be able to say that I'm not going to get involved with a married woman because I know better, and I know the signs, and I know everything that comes behind that. I'm not going to do it, but I ended up doing it anyway. It's just easier said than done, and sometimes humans do make
Oh,
mistakes.
wait a minute. Hold on. When you say that, there's a difference. The first difference is that when you say that, it's not causing you any type of mental issues. That's the first thing. The
It
second thing, wait a minute. The second thing is that the proof was shown on TV. The proof was shown that how far can you go to actually go and trust somebody that just walks out on the team? Boom, he just walked out as an owner of a company. You know what I mean? That to me would have shown a little bit of like, well, how can he be trusted? He walked out on a team. What makes you think he's going to walk out on my company? The difference with you, the difference with you,
Be careful. Go ahead. Be careful, but go ahead.
listen, the difference with you is that in a million years, there was no proof that you shown that you was going to be with a married girl. There was no proof. But at the same time, with Antonio Brown, that was blatantly obvious. They showed that on TV. That was, he took off his helmet, took off his pads, took off everything, and just walked out on the Buccaneers. But you have to take a mental note on rather if you want to take that risk with him owning a company like that. What are the chances that he was going to actually cut half and cut out?
I knew she was married. That's proof number one. But I still did it anyway. Proof number two, if she walked out on that relationship, what makes you think that she wasn't going to walk out on me? If she had the galls to do that, what makes you think that she wasn't going to do that with me? But I still did it anyway. I still obtained a relationship with her. And look
Okay.
what ended up happening. It
Okay.
did not happen.
Okay.
That relationship did not last as
Okay.
long as it did
Hold on
simply
there.
because, hold on, I knew the signs. When she said she was
Mm-hmm.
married, I
Mm-hmm.
should have stopped. But guess what? I didn't. I kept it to moving. I still attained the relationship. And then at the end of the day, the exact same signs that I knew and should have known happened. It happened. And so I have to take a moment and step back and look at these players and say, oh, I know They know that Antonio Brown has issues, but they will probably say, hey, we could try to help this brother out. Mm-hmm. But it did not happen because of Antonio Brown's own way of thinking. Nobody would have expected that. It's like, hey, help us, help you. Sometimes you just have to be open-minded at the same time.
Okay.
And then when it comes down to their behavior, you know that it's going to be the end when it comes down to his behavior. And they knew all of the signs after the fact that it happened. It was too late. They couldn't do nothing about that.
Okay. Since you got on the personal note, let me ask you this. And I want you to think carefully when I ask this. You know my dating history, right?
Sure.
You know my dating history.
Right.
I was oblivious to all the signs that was happening with every girl. Who knew that? You. Why did you know that? Because you had history. You had experience to know what these women was about. Now, taking into account that I was oblivious to my dating history and didn't know squat diddly nothing about these women. I was giving them chances. I was being open-minded and all that. You were there to remind me, hey, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. Because I have the experience. I understood it. And half of the time, you didn't even have experience on some of these things. You just knew it. You just had that feeling. So my question is, why wouldn't that be the same when it came down to Antonio Brown, especially if the proof was on TV?
Because if I told you all of that, but you didn't get a chance to experience it, how would you be able to experience it at the end of the day?
How would you be able? I would have had to go through it.
Bingo. That right there. Even though I told you, you still had to go through it. Even though those players and teams saw that, they went through with it anyway. They had to know the experience. Now they got really the short end of the stick, and they're a done deal now. They really got the harsher consequence behind all of that. You got the harsher consequence behind the dating relationship. I got that at the end of the day. We all got it at the end of the day. But you had to experience that in order for you to see that. You had to. I could tell you a million times, but you had to experience that. They had to experience that.
Now, that's what I'm saying. You didn't even have that experience, though, is what I'm saying. You just knew. You just knew. Straight off the bat. But some of the things you did not experience at all, you just had a feeling. Sometimes people go with their gut instinct. Some people go with their heart instinct. You knew that.
Some people are willing to go and take that risk for certain things. Not everything they're going to take a risk for. Some things they're going to take a risk for.
I get that. No, I totally get everything you're saying. But sometimes you gotta have a little bit of rebuttal to kind of understand like two sides of the story.
Sure.
And I get that. But what I'm saying is it's like, if you know, right? You know.
Right.
So it was kind of like in this sense with Antonio Brown. If they knew, they knew. But I don't know if they knew.
They may not have knew.
I don't know. It's just, it's wild at the same time because you have that mentality. Some business people are just smart like that. And some aren't. Some are just straight, just wanting to just get the bag and not think twice about it.
And this is exactly the reason why that we have to talk about these things, Darren.
Yeah.
Take a look at that what is it? The FTX lawsuit. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. And I said the same thing.
They might have had a bad feeling about it too.
And I said the same. Right. And I said the exact same thing you said. I said the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
And ain't nothing different with the players.
No.
It's nothing different. Sometimes you're willing to take an extra risk on that behalf.
Right.
Now they're paying for it for sure. Yeah. They're paying for it.
Right. And the only thing that I said that I think that I actually did say was that they actually should have talked to a financial broker
That's
when
absolutely
that
right.
happened. They should have talked at least to a
Right.
financial broker to see if this was the right move or not, or if there were some things that was kind of shady about it. Now, I don't know if they actually did or didn't, and that's one of the things that I wish I would have caught myself on, but I don't think they did because some of them are pretty upset about it. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
But that Daryl, thank you for that, for the honest conversation of honesty. Thank you for
I just had to bring it up. It's just like, well,
that.
sometimes you just have to be like, well, that really don't answer that question. But at the same time, it's like, well, let's just throw all of our options
Yeah, let's just
out
throw
there.
in ideas. Let's just
But
have a
just throw them in.
conversation about it.
Right.
Have a
And
conversation
sometimes,
about, see where it goes.
yeah, and sometimes you do have to get personal about it. But,
Absolutely.
it just brings the point that some of these things are just what it is. It's different ideas that you blow up in your head and you think about. So you have to kind of
Yeah,
just bring it to the table.
sure. Sure. Absolutely. Daryl,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But that's all for Darius. No, anything else you want to add?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good
I,
now. So
all right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can get more of these videos here of our podcast, Darren's Notes, Daryl's Reactions, the audio podcast that's out on Anchor as well. And you can catch all of our gameplay as well on YouTube. But again, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Darren's Notes, Daryl's Reactions, and the audio and gameplay. We'll see you there.